what's going on at Standing Rock and what we're doing to try to change it.
Do you want to hear the funny part or do you want to hear the sincere part? No, first off, I'll introduce myself. Tokaya Tinkashla Wupla Waku, Lemia Chamatomi Ahemie, Chunkbe Opiomatiwa. My dear relatives, before we say anything, we always supposed to thank the Creator first. My Lakota name is Bear Woman. My English name is Joanne Spotted Bear. I'm an original descendant of the Little Bighorn, the Wounded Knee Massacre, 1890, World War I, World War II. During the Wounded Knee occupation, 1973, my father was a police officer who walked off his job because he knew right from wrong. Today, I'm known as a Ekjewiam, a common woman. However, the United Nations World Ambassadors recognize me as a highly excellency for the work that we are doing today.
And you want to tell my audience a little about what's going on at Wounded Knee?
You mean Standing Rock?
I mean Standing Rock, I'm sorry.
Okay. In Standing Rock today, relatives, they're running the Canada Trans-Pacific Pipeline through North Dakota, and Donald Trump wants to start the Keystone XL pipeline going through South Dakota. What is going to be running through the pipelines is oil, and inside oil, they're digging up what is called bitumen, or what I say bitumen. Bitumen, or AK bitumen, can get in the water, the clean water, and it can, you can't taste it, you can't smell it, and you can't see it, but it will contaminate the food supply, and it will eventually cause bone marrow, birth defects in babies and in pregnant women, and towards the end, it'll eventually cause death within the people. So therefore, right now, what's happening with Standing Rock is they do have a court case in the lower courts that's happening at the District of Columbia in Washington, D.C. with the Judge James Boasberg. And Judge James Boasberg did sit on the Supreme Court, and he does acknowledge the United States Constitution. So what makes this a unique case is the fact that the District of Columbia or the Court of Appeals know that treaties are supreme law of the land. Standing Rock Sioux tribal president voted in chairman David Archambault and Harold Frazier and all their lawyers, including the Department of Justice in Washington, D.C., and the Federal Bureau of Indian Affairs and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, all know that treaties are supreme law of the land, including President Donald Trump. An executive order does not supersede treaties whatsoever at all. However, what's happening now is they're using the United States District Court in Washington, D.C., the lower courts, to supersede treaties here in this country. Therefore, this is why I am here, to stand up on behalf of the 564 federal recognized tribes on treaties, North and South America, let alone the world. I am challenging the 1933 bankruptcy of the United States, and I am presenting treaties to the world because treaties did start in 405 BCE, whereas the United States has two constitutions. The first constitution is 1787. The second constitution is 1871. Therefore, the treaties are a lot older than the U.S. Constitution. I'm sorry to say, but it's older than Donald Trump.
And let me jump in for a minute on this. I would like to point out that Donald Trump is committing treason when Donald Trump ignores treaties or goes against the treaties. Our Constitution is, in our Constitution, it says this Constitution and treaties are the supreme law of the land. So therefore, when Donald Trump decides to ignore treaties, he's actually committing treason. He's making war against the Constitution. He's making war against treaties, and that under our Constitution is treason. So I just wanted to jump in and add that.
Yes, to commit war against treaties and the people of the world is a death sentence on anyone and everyone, from Standing Rock Tribal President David Archambault to Harold Frazier, the Judge James Bosenberg, to President Donald Trump. This is a inside job being done from a bankrupt corporation, the United States of America, or AK United States of America in Washington, D.C. I don't care how you spell it or look at it. A de facto government that is a corporation under 28 USC 3002 with a charter number, and writing de facto executive orders do not supersede treaties. Treaties start with the original people of the land, and every treaty began with a war and ended with black ink on white paper.
Yeah, and I've done a lot of shows on the corporate government of the United States, and right now, very few people in this country understand. Our country went bankrupt in 1933, and in 1933, when they went bankrupt, they formed a corporation. They formed a corporation which called the United States of America. Well, they did it under a few names, and it's registered on Dun and Bradstreet. And so what we do not have, what they taught you in school, a republican form of government. We are no longer a republic. What's happening in Washington, D.C. is a corporation, and that corporation is now running our country and doing the bidding of all the big corporations in this country. It's not looking out for the best interests of the people. I've done quite a few shows on this subject. I just wanted to add that in to support what Joanne is saying here. Everything that Joanne is saying is completely accurate. I've done the research myself on all these subjects and know it to be true. And the treaties under our Constitution, it says right in our Constitution, this Constitution and treaties are the supreme law of the land. Whenever judges go against it, which has happened in this case,
many cases,
lower court judges have ruled against the treaty and the American Indians at Standing Rock and many other reservations. And the President of the United States, Donald Trump, is now saying that he's going to move on to the Standing Rock Reservation using what's that term?
Eminent domain.
Yeah, eminent domain. Yeah, that's a sovereign people's land. The United States corporation does not have any authority to do this, and we need more people out there to stand up and support what's going on at Standing Rock and most of the other reservations or Indian lands in this country.
Can I chime in and
Yeah, sure, of course.
say a few things? The 1933 was the latest bankruptcy of the United States. The first bankruptcy was the Revolutionary War, then the Civil War, then the Union War. all were bailed out by the Queen or the Pope. And the 1933 bankruptcy is where Roosevelt fired Congress, didn't realize it, and fired himself, handed everything over to the United Nations and the world bankers, failed to ratify, dialogue, and notify, again, 564 federal recognized tribes, North and South America, let alone the world. Continued to write de facto treaties thereof. So anything written after 1933, according to 177 Jurisprudence Section 166, declares bankruptcy as if once you become bankrupt, anything thereof is written as if it was never written. That's treason, fraud by trickery, because now you have a corporation with a charter number writing de facto executive orders and making treaties with countries around the world that they have no business writing treaties with.
We went to Bearsville Theater to see Buffy St. Marie, and Buffy and Joanne got together and did a little ceremony and talked about Standing Rock, and Paul is going to punch that in.
Bankrupt and failed to ratify, dialogue, or notify 564 federal recognized tribes, North and South America. The United States no longer has a treaty, so an executive order does not supersede a treaty anymore. So with that being said, we're asking for a judicial review as who give the United States the permission to use this flag. When does in a bankrupt corporation executive order supersede treaties? When the treaty started in 405 BCE, and there's two constitutions. The first one is 1787. The second one is 1871. So with that being said, everything that, whether it be Buffy or the Great Lakota Nation or the indigenous people as a whole, this is still our country. This land was never for sale. And anything and everything that is ours is still ours today. The government owes us from 1492 in gold and silver. So this is still our land, this is still our country, and Donald Trump has no say.
I agree.
Awesome. Thank you.
Take a picture.
Yes. Wait for you?
I don't have my camera with me.
Should we stand in the light?
Maybe we can. Can we get in the light? You tell us where to stand, just so there's more.
Remember what happened the last yellow here, so.
Maybe we'll be
Well, this is his reminder.
Can you summarize?
Is that good?
You guys are not, can you shift this way? Just a little bit. Perfect. Okay, ready? One. Oh yeah, look at
This the two these two ends was meant for two nations to come together and live in peace and harmony. But when the government starts to neglect treaties and supersede the native Indian people, now we're taking our land back and we're telling the world the truth.
Thank you.
Yes,
Jimmy
thank you.
Gretsch.
Thank you.
My friend, thank you.
Thank you for supporting Standing Up. Okay, would you be willing to help us do a show?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
We have
Relatives.
to figure out how. We just
Okay.
have to figure out how.
All right.
I don't make an announcement of it yet, though.
Okay, well, right here, because these are the radio people would put me on TV to expose the United States government here in New York, and I already exposed the government on the LA area. And I went to jail from Scott Pruitt's office, and I actually beat the court. They never gave me no paperwork, no nothing, and they confiscated the flag and they gave it back to me. Hey!
Right,
Can I have a big
right,
five?
Good one. Good one. Yeah. That's good. You got a good message. Yeah. No, we have to figure out how to put you in touch, and can you have her be in touch with us?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So we'll figure out how to do that.
Okay. I would love that. I would really
Exchange
love
our addresses.
that. Okay.
Oh, good luck. Wouldn't that be wonderful, huh? That'll be wonderful. It'll be good. It'll be so good.
I would really like us to work together and get more. Okay, here's what I'd like to see done. We have TV and radio right here. We can also, there's more people in New York who want to do a TV interview with me, and also in LA, okay? Susanna and I are also going around doing radio shows with Vanessa, the one that got her eye shot out. And we can create I don't know what it's called when you get a group of people together, like in a concert. Yeah, a benefit concert to help the people. But it's
We've
going to
been
be
wanting to do
towards.
something. I know Winona LaDuke wants to put some things together, including Indigo Girls.
But what I want to do is put an event together for a class action lawsuit called writ of prohibition. It's an open class action lawsuit based on the bankruptcy of 1933, based on the since when does executive order supersede treaties of the world, and since when does a lawyer have say over Native Indigenous peoples in a de facto court?
Right on. It's right on. Well, you know what? We need to be in touch so that you can give me these details.
We can send you the letter, the email.
Yeah, that's what we need.
It's a rough draft, but it
And
will.
where does she go?
I have Kimberly's.
She's writing it up.
Yeah, I have
Okay,
Kimberly's
that's good.
card. She gave it to us
Okay,
earlier.
good.
Give us your email, we'll send you the paperwork, the legal paperwork, so you can
Yeah,
read it
she's doing it
yourself.
right now.
She's getting that together for you.
Can I ask you a question? Is it true that the effect is like, in the yard?
In your yard. In home.
Great example of that is like I had a Juno nominated, kind of Grammy nominated all Indian band that we're still working with Buffy. We're called Brothers of Different Mothers. My brother was a singer, my blood brother, and I was the manager of the band. And again, a little bit of fame, not even much, but guess what? All that fame was coming from my bank account. And then all of a sudden he sends me this email. Where's my money? Where's all these where's his expenses going? And how come we're not getting something from the merchandise? I'm like, did you even put any equity into that? And you want understand. He didn't understand the business, and I just said, listen. And that's like I said about money and family. I just said, listen. I said to my wife, I just said, we're dropping it. And she goes like, it was just like at the height of its career, and I just said, you wanna lead?
Can you step back for us? Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna sing a song. Ready? Yo, hey, yo, ho, yo, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo, ho, yo, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo, hey, hey, yo, hi, yo, 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 hey, hey, yo, 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 four times, hand it over. Yo, hey, yo, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo, yo, hey, yo, hey, hey, yo, yo, hey, yo, And then 4 times.
Hey, so listen. So we're talking between the 10 and 15? Yeah. Okay. Good. Let's talk in the next couple of days, or I have to get up to, a day or two.
Right, sounds good.
All right. Let's do that. The girls look up for it? Good. You like the idea? Ask them about that song, but they don't like it, that's all. You know, when I heard it,
Please be aware of your surroundings. Please be aware.
Four times. 4 times. From your heart, 4 times. You're going to pass it over 4 times. And for all of our people who have died. And those that are coming, and those who continue to stand up for our people.
Sister, niece, mother, grandmother.
Thank you.
Your friend Lionel Eduardo.
No.
From Rosebud.
From where?
Rosebud. He's president of Santa Claus. You reminded me of him when you mentioned your name. It's fun and tail.
You'll never forget the look when you saw me standing in the corner. You was.
It was good. It was good.
Thank you.
Thank you for this. Thank you for this. Yeah. Walk in strength and beauty and balance.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, it's good.
Buffy, could you say a few words to the camera in support of Standing Rock?
Really, the things that I have to say about Standing Rock are really just from my heart. I should not be considered to be a spokesperson, but a supporter and a great admirer of the work that David Archambault II, and I knew his dad, Dave Archambault, a great educator. They're the ones to listen to, they're the ones to follow. The people at Standing Rock who actually come from that area are the true leadership. And there are a lot of people who've gone to Standing Rock with very good intentions, but I think some of them got it mixed up with Burning Man, and it's not that. It's not a hippie encampment. If people are going to help us in any of the more than 300 issue-based actions that are going on to try to protect the earth in Indian country or in other indigenous places of the world, it's not a big camp out and a party. It's an opportunity to learn, to support, and to follow the leadership of the people who are actually there when it comes to how to conduct yourself, how to treat the water, where to use the bathrooms, what to bring and not to bring. So as supporters, please educate yourself a little bit if you can, and listen to the leadership that comes from the heart of Mother Earth and the heart of Indian country at the moment when eyes are on Standing Rock in particular. But there are other actions that need to be known and supported, and you can help, and your help is welcome. But these are very serious issues, and it's not only about Native people, and it's not a new issue, and it's not the new AIM movement. This resistance has been going on for over 500 years. It continues in many ways, in many incarnations, and in protecting water and in protecting Mother Earth, it's not really a matter of ethnicity or race or color or anything like that. We all live on Mother Earth, and many, many thanks to our sister, my granddaughter, and my grandmother. Our circle as women is very deep, very big, very old, and very much of the future.
Just real quick before you leave, Dave Archambault does not run the Great Lakota Nation no more.
Thank you.
That's going to be put out there, and it's going to be made very clear. The United States is bankrupt. Standing Rock is an agency that owed the IRS $1 million in 2012 and lied. We are bringing the truth, because the truth is the only thing that's going to help the people to live. There's going to be no more covering up for the United States government or sugarcoating anybody for anything when it comes to black ink on white paper. The flag of the Little Bighorn will be showed to the entire world at the UN level, at the United Nations level, and to Geneva, Switzerland. The people of the world, everything will change for the better of the people, to help us to live, because no one has the right to contaminate the water, and no one, the future 7 generations, deserve to have what we got today, a good life. I just want to clear that up a little bit.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be looking forward to more. And how can we reach you, or how can we learn when we don't see you?
I have we'll be in touch.
And for the other people, I mean, is there any way that people who want to reach you can do?
Okay. My phone number is 775-502-6831. You can go reach out on Facebook, Joanne Spotted Bear or May Spotted Bear. Both pages, what we do is we express the whole truth on black ink on white paper, and we expose the living heck out of the government to the fullest extent of the law. And we are now questioning why are treaties at a district level when they should be at the Supreme Court, and why isn't no one expressing the 1933 bankruptcy to not just the Lakota, Nakota, Dakota, and Cheyenne, or the 564 federal recognized tribes, but the entire world.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We have to go because they're trying to close up. And we have to get up very early in the morning and go to Providence, Rhode Island.
Trying to get a picture of the three with you.
Oh yeah, one last picture.
Just get where the light's good.
Yeah,
Okay.
If you stand over just a second, that would be a little better. There you go. Right there.
did a round dance.
We're almost done.
All right. Thank you.
That was Buffy St. Marie and Joanne Spotted Bear, and at Bearsville Theater, and it was a wonderful thing to see. And Joanne would like to make some points about what was said there. So go ahead, Joanne.
Thank you very much, Joe. In 2012, I wrote to the IRS in Pierce, South Dakota. We were concerned and continuously to be concerned about the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, where lice, mice, cockroaches are in condemned homes that are living, our people are living in poverty and genocide. We wrote a letter to President Obama to come to Pine Ridge and to help our people to live. He never did respond back to that letter, and so what we did is we made videos and we put it on YouTube, and we exposed it to the world ambassadors and anybody and everybody who would watch around the world through Facebook. And when we showed this, when we wrote to the IRS in Pierre, South Dakota, Pierre, South Dakota replied back to us with all the tribes that owed the IRS, and as majority of the people know throughout the world, Standing Rock is in North Dakota and parts of it is in South Dakota, but the head office of Standing Rock is in North Dakota, approximately 36 to 38 miles away from Bismarck. Bismarck happens to be the capital where I call him Jack Dippewinkle. His office is located, Governor Jack Dippewinkle. And the Standing Rock Sioux tribe, taxes are located in Pierce, South Dakota. So when we let the Great Lakota Nation, one of our questions were, why is Standing Rock owed the IRS in Pierce, South Dakota, and along with Pine Ridge, and close to $1 million. And we weren't really after Standing Rock. Then we had heard around that time that David Archambault was president in Standing Rock. We didn't really pay attention to Standing Rock. In 2014 is when the Keystone XL pipeline was initiating to go through the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation straight through Wounded Knee and through the Indian reservations, where we then came together, and the Great Lakota Nation as a whole found out that there was this investors who were investing into the Keystone XL pipeline. At that time, in 2014, it was John Yellowbird Still, John Hussman, Dean Patton, Tom Porbear, and Alex Whiteplume's names who were invested into the Keystone XL pipeline. What they did was they used federal tribal funds, took it out, and bought in as investors into the Keystone XL pipeline. So when we took a look at this, plus the 1933 bankruptcy and the fact that tribal agencies have no say in treaties, we took it to the Great Teton elders and we exposed it to them, where we were told by our elders that this is a reoccurrence that has happened. There was a court case when Vincent Blackout went to the Supreme Court, went to the United Nations, and went to The Hague. I learned through mutual friends that The Hague is a privately owned courthouse by Dr. Henderson, who takes tribal court documents, flips them over on his desk, and later throws them out as if they never existed. And therefore, these court cases that are on indigenous issues concerning the United States is neglected. So what I talked to the elders about is what we chose to do was justice in the eyes of the world. We were going to expose the United States, and we are exposing the United States to the fullest extent of the world. There shall be no more lies, there shall be no more hidden secrets between the 564 federal recognized tribes, North and South America, let alone the world. Your gig is up. No, for real, your gig is up. We learned through the last 10 years of many teachers, and those are for me to know and for you to find out, literally. And the reason I'm saying that is because I know for a fact that if I was to start dropping names, people would start dying, those who are helping me. And I love my people, and I'll never let them be harmed. Whether I know you or don't know you, we are here to protect the water. So with that being said, I'm going to start with number one, the United States bankruptcy. The first one is the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, the Union War, and then the 1933 bankruptcy. The exact first time when Christopher Columbus first came here, he came on a ship, and he was hungry, he was starving, and in need of a place to stay. It was our people who gave him a place to stay and fed him and gave him everything he needed. It wasn't until he saw gold on the ground that they decided to start killing off our people and claiming this land as ours. This is an ongoing genocide that has reoccurred from 1492 to 2017. However, there's this thing called black ink on white paper. The actual alphabet was started in Kalar, Africa. The Africans were the first ones that Creator, Almighty God, as most of you know him, we call him Creator, or Tunkashila. Tunkashila gave the African people the right to read and do math, and that was how they educated their children. The Europeans came through and captured an African and told him to teach him how to read and do this math, and they would let him go as slaves. And from that point forward, they took this alphabet and this math and utilized it all the way around the world to this current day. And so what I'm proposing to the world and to the Supreme Court, and what I asked Joe and Gloria to help me do, and many other people, including Susanna Sandoval and many people, is this is what we're going to do. We are going to put eminent domain on the capital of Washington, D.C. A bankrupt corporation, or corporations in general, can sue and be sued, but a bankrupt corporation cannot be sued. However, you can seize the charter number and pull that charter number. An executive order of the United States of America, aka United States of America, Washington, D.C., does not supersede treaties. These treaties are not taught in grade school, high school, colleges, only in some universities such as UCLA or Harvard. And we did go to UCLA in Los Angeles, California, where the dean of UCLA did try to dummy me down and tell me to go to tribal law, where I told him, no, you can't send me to tribal law because I know for a fact that you teach treaties here. And I know that because I have a friend in Dubai who died of cancer, and her sister goes to school here. And so we know that you do deal internationally with international students. And the 1851 treaty is not only a national treaty, but an international treaty that made the Chronicle list of international treaties all the way around the world. It is a safe passage only. Whereas the Dakota Access Pipeline, Army Corps of Engineers, Department of Justice, United States of America are all chartered corporations. Our question to the United States of America and the CEO is who gave you your charter, your bond, and your EIN number? Because technically 564 federal recognized tribes never agreed to allow you to do business on our land.
Go back to her.
So what our question is, the charter and the bond and the EIN number is illegal. This is therefore we can pull it. This land is technically from north to east, south to west, is all indigenous nation. However, in Washington, D.C., as many of you have seen, I did go to jail from Scott Pruitt's office, and I have learned while in Washington, D.C., that the city of Washington, D.C. is the city. It's not a country, it's not a territory, nor is it a nation. The actual charter number is in the United Nations in Geneva, Switzerland. In 2010, Hillary Clinton messed up on the paperwork in Geneva, Switzerland. Therefore, we have been asking Ambassador Shahi Amin Khan, the chief chair of the United Nations, to please present us with the documents that Hillary Clinton messed up on, because as indigenous nations with the treaty, we deserve to see what Hillary Clinton messed up on what document, and why wasn't we involved? Why did the indigenous nations not know? The second question of the United Nations is, every single indigenous person on this land, North and South America, you do have a seat at the United Nations, whether it be in New York or Geneva, Switzerland. We do have a say about treaties. Now, treaties is very unique. We also go by hierarchy, right, Suzanne? Hierarchy. Okay, hierarchy is the oldest to the youngest, and according to the United States, it goes by blood quantum. The United States chose to use blood quantum to get rid of the Native American Indian and to save the man. In other words, take our traditional values away from us, teach us the European way of life, and forget that we are Native American Indians on our own land and within our own territory. And so by doing so, they give us the full blood, such as myself. If we died, the United States government said that they would claim this land, and anybody in it would listen and obey to what they have to say. In other words, they would put in effect the executive orders and neglect all the treaties that was on this land. Therefore, what I am presenting to the indigenous people is, no, the United States is bankrupt, and the executive order does not have any jurisdiction over a treaty, especially a bankrupt corporation with a bankrupt CEO named Donald Trump. As for Mr. Donald Trump, well, I got you and I have you in mind. I have a very important question for you. Who allowed you your bond, your charter, and your EIN number? I am requesting that you show your bankruptcy. An executive order does not supersede treaties. As a matter of fact, we are supreme law. A de facto government has no say on treaty. And we would also like you to present all of your documents to not just the indigenous people, but to the world. You might tell the people of this country, no, you don't have to show your bankruptcy. But let me tell you, Mr. Donald Trump, according to law and the U.S. Constitution and that Bible of Thomas Jefferson, you took an oath, okay, to solemnly swear to protect the United States. You said you was going to make America great. Start by presenting your bankruptcy to those of us who own the treaty and our supreme law of the land. Because what we understand here is that you have not paid your debt to society, yet you want to tell people who you claim to be immigrants of this land to go back home. Yet you yourself are not even from this country. Your mom is from Germany. And you're using Hitler laws. And since you want to play the Hitler game and go abide by Hitler laws, the treaty is a death sentence. And it has to be imposed according to law. And again, the executive order is not a law. It's a de facto written statement. It's treason against treaties and the people of the world. So those of you of color, if you don't know your treaty, there's a thing called, again, Chronicle List of International Treaties Worldwide. Everybody has one. And a de facto government named United States of America, the capital, has a charter number that can be pulled. And every judge and lawyer across this country, from Maine all the way to California, from Alaska all the way around the world, you're supposed to abide by international treaties. This is our home, and we deserve respect on our home. If we go to Africa or Europe or China or anywhere, we respect your land, your culture, and your way of life. We deserve the same respect here. As for President Putin, okay, I am an actual dignitary at the United Nations with equal status. I have a right to talk to you, and you have no right, given a de facto government orders coming from your nation. It's a nation-to-nation relationship. We are the sovereign people of this land. You should be talking to us. China, you as well. According to what I know within the United Nations, equal status has as much sovereignty as China or Japan. You should be talking to us. We are not your problem, okay? However, the United States has named airplanes and wars after Native American Indians. As a full-blood, I am here to tell you the exact truth. We never did give the United States of America permission to cause genocide or poverty around the world. We have never given this country the ability to conquer indigenous nations of the world. As a matter of fact, the United States of America has how do I say that word this morning? Historical, perpetual, historical, perpetual, genocidal. Anyway, it's an ongoing issue of genocide. And there was a court case that when Susan comes on with us, we're going to describe this very clearly. There's a court case that was taken in California, Mendez versus Westminster. Yeah, what they said. No, Western who? Westminster. Again, Mendez versus Westminster. This court case was about the Mexicans who were being mistreated in California schools. And so they challenged the genocide inside the courts for racial discrimination, and it was won. And I think, as a matter of fact, I'm very to 100% sure that's what's happening with these treaties. That's why they're being dummied down to the district court in Washington, D.C. They're not at the current moment being heard in the Supreme Court. As a matter of fact, we went to a transgender rally in Washington, D.C. And the one who's throwing the transgender lawsuit throughout a Supreme Court is being heard this week. Yet Standing Rock in the treaties of the Fort Laramie hasn't even occurred at all through the Supreme Court. So therefore, this is why we're writing these documents.
Let me jump in.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me jump in now for a minute. Me and Joanne and Susanna and Paula have been working on paperwork to turn into the Supreme Court. Mostly this is Joanne Spotted Bear's work. We just helped tweak it a little bit with some legal sites. But I want you people to know out there, in order for Joanne to take this case to the Supreme Court, Joanne's going to need to raise some funds. So we set up a bank account, a post office box. And we're asking everybody out there who gets this message, we're going to put it up on the internet. We want you to pass it along to other people, put it on their internet. We want this to go viral. And we need 1 million people out there to send, and we're only asking everybody out there to send $5 for a donation to Joanne's Defense Fund to help preserve the land for American Indians and to win this case in the Supreme Court. So if $5 is not going to be much for people to dip in their pocket, and we just to be sure that there's no hanky-panky, because there's been lots of problems when people try to collect money, the money doesn't always go where it's supposed to go. So we set it up so that it's going to go directly to Joanne. We set up a post office box, and we want people to send postal money orders. Please only send postal money orders. And if we could get 1 million people to send $5, that would give her $5 million because it's very expensive and to fight a case in the Supreme Court, and that would give her the money to get around. Her car don't have tires, and she's been running doing this. So there's a lot of expenses. So if you could just send a postal money order, $5, Joanne will tell you exactly where and how to send it. So it's Joanne Spotted Bear.
Okay. I want to say thank you.
Bearsville Post Office.
Let me just, before we get too far off into money, as a Chinoopa carrier and a member of Great Lakota Nation, we are never to ask for money. But this is not just a personal use. This is use to help save the water and the land and the next 7 generations, hopefully by 10, and that it'll be saved for eternity, that this water can be used for all walks of life. We all deserve to live. So with that being said, like Joe said, we are asking for $5, a money order, to go to Joanne Spotted Bear, Post Office Box 545, Bearsville, New York, 12409. Or you can call me at 775-502-6831. Again, the post office box is Joanne Spotted Bear, Joann, Spotted Bear, Spotted, capital BEAR, Post Office Box 545, Bearsville, New York, 12409. My telephone number is 775-502-6831. And the reason we are doing it this way is I did have a GoFundMe page and a PayPal, and I did see a couple donors put money into the PayPal. When I went to the PayPal, there was no money that showed up into that PayPal. And so the concern is, where's the money going? How come I can see it on my end, but yet when I go to the account number, there's nothing there? So we decided to ask everybody to start sending $5 to the post office and get a money order through the post office. That way we can cash the money order through the post office box. That'll help. Again, with tires, my car has 116,000 miles. We are babying the car to get us from A to B. Hopefully it'll make it and live a little bit longer. but it's been a very blessed car that we have today, and I thank the Creator for allowing us to have such a vehicle to travel and do the things we need to get done.
And let me jump in again. I really would wish you people out there would support this. If we can get this case up into the Supreme Court and we can get a ruling that the treaty should be honored by Donald Trump and these people running the pipeline through, we can protect our Indian brothers and sisters, and we can protect the land, and we can protect the water. This is a very important battle, and for you people out there, $5 out of someone's pocket is not a lot of money, but if we could get 1 million of you people to put up $5, we can make big changes for what's happening at Standing Rock. Go on the news and see what's happened. See how those people are being abused.
Hashtag no DAPL. It's not always on the news. ABC, NBC, or CBS is not reporting the true story. As we were talking earlier, many of our Lakota, Dakota brothers and sisters, Cheyenne, some of them are getting the life beat out of them. The Lakotas, especially the Native American Indians, are being charged with federal crimes, and the Europeans are being charged with misdemeanors for doing the same exact thing, protecting the water. In North Dakota, the governor is, and the Department of Justice, DOJ, and the Army Corps of Engineers, as well as Washington, D.C., are neglecting these treaties in the most highest level that can ever exist. In other words, they go to church on Sunday and say, yeah, I believe in God and I really want to be forgiven, and then they turn around on Monday and go and neglect treaties and start genocide and poverty on this land. So yes, it really is happening here in this country, on the Standing Rock Indian Reservation, as well as many other tribes throughout the nation, including North and South America, let alone the world.
Okay, I think we did the hour.
Hold on, just want to say real quick. I want to tell the people out there, water and the land, it has no color. It's not racial, and it has a great capacity and compassion of love for the people. And we need to take care of this now. The money that we're asking for is not just for the Supreme Court. It's also to go to The Hague. David Archambault had no business at the United Nations as a trusted CEO, voted in tribal representative. So David, he does not own the treaties. The treaties belong to the Full-Bloods. So when he made his great presentation in Geneva, Switzerland, and met with the U.S. ambassador, he violated our treaty. The United States of America was supposed to ratify and dialogue with Vincent Blackfeather in the early 1900s, I say 1943 or 1970, in that area. And then in 2014, I went to the United Nations here in New York City. The United States was then again to ratify and dialogue on the 1933 bankruptcy and failed to do so. They lied before the world and said they did ratify and dialogue, but they never did. And they never did do that with us. And at the time, they said the United States told the people within the United Nations, sorry, the dapple cough. They told the people Don't tell Joanne Spotted Bear nothing. She'll tell the world everything. And once she tells the world everything, they'll ruin our future plans for the world. What I'm telling you here today, folks, is as Indigenous people, if we didn't love you and we didn't care, we wouldn't be here right now.